Hey, I'm getting ready to go to church, and so I gotta get in the tub and put on a shirt. I haven't worn a suit in a while, so I'm gonna put on my old gray suit. I just haven't, sort of haven't been there, in that respect. But uh, I want to talk about a couple of things. I want to talk about judgment, and we always say, "Don't judge, don't judge, don't judge." But God says, I haven't, Jesus said, haven't I told you ye are judges? Ye are gods. The name for God is judge. So God is the ultimate judge, the most high judge. And so he said, didn't I tell you you are judges? So you talk about not judging, but there's a way to judge. And so a lot of times you judge the act. Personally, I would prefer to judge the act. I don't judge the person. So, anyway, because acts can change and people can change, anyway, so I want to talk about some of the judgments of the Lord. I just want to rattle off a couple. And I want to say something too that I haven't wanted to say, and I'm gonna say it. Go and look at my videos. 1 month before the BP oil spill thing, I said I don't care. I don't care what happens to you. I don't care what goes wrong. After DC made that gay law enact, that puts people in a position of something that the Bible says is a sin. And so it puts them in a permanent position of being in that sin. Instead of making laws that help fish for men, and instead of being fishers for men, like what Christianity says, this is something that locks them and binds them into an agreement that is not of God and doesn't fish for men. So now we've lost our fishermen in the Gulf. And now, so the Lord is, basically say, you don't want to fish for men. You don't need this ocean then. I'm just joking. I'm not saying that the Lord did this or anything like that. We know how it happened. What I'm saying is that I still got things I care about, because I do care about what happens to this country, and I do care that all the fishermen are going to lose jobs and we're losing all the fish and stuff, just like I care that what my country and the laws that they make. So I want to talk about judgment though. So even in the judgment, when these judgment comes, there's time given. And Adam and Eve, like sometimes the judgment comes from just not trying to do right. It's like Adam and Eve were put in the garden, and the Lord warned them, and he says, don't touch that apple. So it's not like he said, well, you got to be good about this, you got to be good this, and make sure you say your prayers every day and stuff like that. He just said, don't touch that apple. Just don't do the wrong thing, So it's not that you have to try so hard to do the right thing, Just sometimes you just don't have to do the wrong thing, Just, sometimes you got to just leave certain things alone. And I want to, so in like writing on the wall in Daniel, like they were partying and the Lord didn't have a problem with that until that king, I think it was Nebuchadnezzar, went in there or got drunk and then decided to go in and take the chalices that were meant for the Lord and that was set apart for Israel, and use godly things used for godly purposes. Things that were already sanctified for the Lord. So, like all my equipment, even my house, even before I got here, I sanctified it for the Lord. It's really His. So they went in there and they took something that belonged to the Lord, right? Now, in Adam and Eve, God gave them time. It was a blessing for Him to say, look, don't touch that. look, you're gonna get cursed, I'm gonna kick you out of the garden, but before you go, let me put some clothes on your body. Let me make sure that you okay. I'm gonna give you time to get it right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna send my son, and he's gonna redeem you. That means I love you. You were given time to get it right, to handle the business. Okay, so this is what I'm saying, and different situations. So with the chalices, they went in and took in and different stuff like that. So in Pharaoh's case, right, it was let my people go. Now, considering if you think about the end point, he didn't have to say that. He didn't have to say it. He didn't have to warn you. I like that thing about Beyonce in her song, Why Don't You Love Me? When she says, I love you enough that you must have bumped your head, and I love you enough to talk some sense into you. You tell, it's different when you let somebody do something wrong and you just let them. But when you try to give them a warning, when you try to tell them, and so basically, that's what the Lord did in every situation. Even before Cain killed Abel, the Lord went to him and tried to talk to some sense into his head. It's like, look, don't I love you? Ain't I your tree? If you do the right thing, I will bless you. I will continue to bless you. But if you do the wrong thing, I will, sin will be waiting for you. And then we know what happens then. Then the Lord's got to deal with the sin. Not even the person, the sin. Okay? So what I'm saying is oftentimes there was several times that Pharaoh had to be corrected. And Pharaoh's heart is like, let my people go. Okay, you ain't gonna let them go. Here's some frogs. Okay, here go your crops. They gone. Here goes some locusts coming. They gonna eat your crops. Here goes your water. Turn red. Now you can't drink from your water. Okay. All right, they changed colors. Okay, it used to be red. Now it's black. Okay. So it's these things. All these warnings. Now, here's my point. Then it was one when the last one, when Pharaoh was so mean-spirited that he said, he threatened Moses and said, I'm going to take your firstborn. So he threatened him. And Moses said, by your own words, And so he said, by your own words, you are judged. That's the judgment you pass down on me. Because you got to think about it. These people thought, Pharaohs thought they were God. They thought that they could not be touched. There's when you get to kingship and stuff like that, you think you can get away with stuff. King David, had one of his men killed, when he could have, at any point for a woman, when he could have asked the Lord for another woman just like that. Sometimes it's like, okay, I don't have to do the wrong thing, but I still want to do it. Lord, help me out with it, So the Lord said, you could ask me for a woman for that. If you wanted one, I could have got you one. But you did the wrong thing, So, but the thing about it is that we don't think that judgment can come. So after 7 judgments, 7, I think it was 7, or one of them, 6, 7, I don't know. Then he lost his firstborn, and then. And then after that, so he finally let him go. Okay, that was the straw that finally got to him. He let him go. Then he comes back and tried to do something else. He tried to get the people and beat the people, and they were up against the sea and stuff like that. And the Lord parted the sea. Again, we had the situation with water. The Lord working with water, some Gulf water. He just parted. I really believe to this day, the Lord can have something come, a hurricane or something, and just sip out the oil in the Gulf. Really, I believe that. So a tornado or something. I don't know. But anyway, so what I'm saying is after the judgment, the Pharaoh thought that he can't be judged anymore. David, even with his situation, he got judged. The judgment was still on the sin. So what I'm saying about that situation is that, we think that we can make laws and do things, and really it comes from not fearing the Lord, the heart of it. So the problem was with Pharaoh's heart. That he thought that, he could still win or something, just hard-headed, stubborn, and just thought he'd just continue to do that. And like judgment can't hit you again, even after you've been judged, you can be hit again, and that's what I'm saying, even with the situation with the BP and stuff like that, we continue to create laws. Now, I'm not ever saying that that the oil Gulf crisis happened because of BP because of homosexuals. No. If anything, I would point the finger to the people who made the laws, the ones who make the decision on who said that it was okay. That's the one. Okay? So they could have not just done just a decision. Just not to do the right thing. I mean, it's not that they had to do anything for them, because really, it's America's job to protect. That's their job, to protect the citizens, human citizens. That's their job. But when you go and then hand them a knife or hand them a gun, then they become accessory to a crime. So that's my point. Anyway, I got to get to church, and I see y'all. Bye. God bless you all. Love you all. Anyhow.